One Punch Man Season 3 is coming, but one of the most epic fights ever drawn won't make it into the anime. If you have only watched the anime, don't worry, this won't be spoilery since this fight will never happen. Well, what happened? To leave some details behind, let's just say Saitama did something and Orochi felt his presence, and Orochi is one of the only people besides Boros who almost truly fathomed Saitama's true power. So, as a sensible being, he rushed towards the power and had to eliminate it since it posed a threat to him. And there you have it, Orochi standing there with all his might, ready to fight Saitama. And boy did they fight. So it starts off with a little comedic tone and Saitama acts like a neighbor, but Orochi does not play around and instantly sweeps Saitama with a huge attack. Of course, it did nothing to Saitama, and you could see that even just his grip strength alone cracked one of his powerful tentacles. And then Orochi starts blasting this huge attack that Saitama dodges just in time. And one of the cool things about this fight as well is it gives a similar vibe to Carnage Kabuto, as Orochi says that the monster cell in his body has become restless, meaning that his body is telling him, this is dangerous, what are you doing? But of course he doesn't truly understand that at that moment, unlike Carnage Kabuto. But then he pieces it together, which I really like. And all the cool elements you had in the original show about Goketsu, Elder Centipede, even the rumor back in episode 6 of season 1 is the rumor of the monster of the ghost town. Like, he even pieced that together, that it was Saitama who was that monster. So then he gets ready and you see these beautiful panels, these crazy detailed panels that will not be animated, and he then transforms into this more slender, compact body full of power, the fire radiating out of it. And sadly, this super cool transformation, probably the coolest design of Orochi, will also not be in the season, in the anime. But he starts to really get ready to fight, and they have a small little fun exchange about Saitama actually getting tired, constantly having the same talk about being the strongest, the ultimate life form or whatever. And I also like this bit because Saitama became like us a bit, like, okay, we've seen this gimmick happen a lot of times, so even Saitama became self-aware, which was super funny. Then Orochi starts to attack, and this beautiful crazy panel where he basically jabs to Saitama, but his jab is just an arm full of dragons that also swipe. So that's a very cool thing that I've actually never seen. So that was super cool, and Saitama just basically punches every one of those dragons and explodes his whole left arm, and you see the detail in the destruction that he just caused. And Monster King just retaliates with this beautiful attack where his arm dragons just spiral into this fiery blast Kamehameha that takes everything with it. Look at this. You will never get this. Never. The detail, if this were to get animated, it would break the internet. And look at this, he just blasts. His blast is so big that he looks like an ant compared to his own blast, even though Orochi himself is gigantic. And the blast is so big that everyone feels it, and even little lightning bolts that radiates from the blast come towards certain heroes, and they have to use their might to block those little insignificant parts of the whole attack. And the attack is so strong that it lifts part of the city up, which just looks amazing. And then you have this other shot of the train or the metro that just almost derails, and the and the person looks, and you can see the scope of the attack, the immense gigantic hold that was created because of the attack. And that's something I really enjoy about Murata's art style, is he can really convey and show you the skill of the attack. And then you see Saitama zooming past the onlooking people, and then like imagine this being animated. Saitama running while the camera follows him, and then he jumps into a punch to attack, and then Orochi grabs him with one of his tentacle dragons and then keeps on grabbing with multiple, but Saitama just worms out of it, exploding them at the same time. And then Saitama wanted to finish the punch that he started to create, but Orochi just jumps up, and you feel the skill of how big this mass is that just instantly moved so quickly, and it is so cool. And then you think that's all, like it can't get any crazier. No, his chest area, his torso just opens up a gigantic gaping mouth, ready to blast the ever-living shit out of Saitama. And he does blast, like he does shoot the attack, but Saitama becomes agitated and then charges to him and punches right through the attack and Orochi himself, and ending the fight. And then Orochi has this very cool line that I really like, and he said, "What was that?" And Saitama said, "Oh, just a normal punch." And then as his head starts falling into the gigantic ravine, he says, "So this is terror." Basically, Orochi, this unbeatable ultimate life form, felt true fear for the first time, and it was such a cool fight. And of course, I'm talking about the fight itself. The fight itself is one of the greatest fights ever, and just it's so beautiful, and we will probably never get it, and that's very sad. But that's why I made this video, to show the people that haven't seen this, so they can really experience a bit of this beautiful art and fight that happened. But now I will change into spoilery stuff about what actually happened and what will happen in Season 3 as probably the finale fight of the season. And so basically you have been warned. Click off the video if you do not want to get spoiled. So basically what happened is about the redrawn fight, the fight that will enter the Season 3 anime. I do prefer that one over the original one. And you might think, whoa, Dever, calm down, like what are you saying? You're contradicting yourself. If you listen carefully, I said that I still believe that the original fight itself is way cooler, way more epic, way more dramatic, and just a better fight overall than the fight we will get. But the redrawn version is more important because it gives us more of a narrative. It furthers the story and makes the show a better show in general. So ideally, I wish that they would combine the two fights into one fight in the anime, but they won't do it. And what I mean by that is keep the action of the original fight and give us the lore of the redrawn fight. So that's basically a little insight of the beautiful and crazy fight that we will never see in One Punch Man Season 3.